Come on. Say yeah. 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 So good.
What do you say, Holeheads? Welcome to the Twilight Zone Tuesday. I don't exactly know what was going on there. But man, oh man, how about that, dude? All hat, no cattle. Nah, there's plenty of cattle in Knoxville. Finn the Loudmouth for the ACO here on a Taco Tuesday. TACO, talking ACO, American Cornhole Organization. As always, with my man Frank Geers, the Cornhole Dude, or maybe this week it's Blank Geers, the Cornhole Dude. As always, let's get this thing started the right. He's a little stiff. He needs to stretch out. Hey, we're going to check in with Frank a little bit later. He is traveling, so this is literally his stand-in. But thanks to the appearance there from the Dance Party USA there from our man Fergie, he's got himself a whole new bag. Good look, good lid, good big giant yellow sweatshirt hoodie. Like he was afraid you were going to miss him before, but those are some good moves. You got to start working on those. Maybe we'll have a little dance contest at the Worlds this year. We'll see. But also Frank, the Cornhole Dog. That's our boy Frank from Cornwall, England. I just got that picture of the brand new jersey that Tom Collins got for his boy Frank. So that's a good looking jersey right there. And you know what? Jerseys are the coin of the realm. So absolutely a very cool thing for him to have. Hey, real quickly before we get into the recap for Knoxville, which I know you want to get to, a couple of pieces of house cleaning. Remember, subscribe and hit notifications on the YouTube channel. If you've got GJSE on there already, good to see you, brother. Fergie, Slim Fady, yo, I got you. Throw your comments down here in the comments section. I'll get to them as we can during the course of the show. But hit on subscribe and notification bell on YouTube. Also, cast us up onto your TV during the weekend. I know a lot of people were because everybody was snowed in a lot around the country, and I was able to get everything up onto my TV from both Facebook and from YouTube. And I'll post a photo a little bit later on of my boy Calvin, since we showed Frank the Cornhole Dog a little while ago. I'll show you Calvin just how fascinated he was with what he was watching, notwithstanding the outstanding efforts by all involved. But make sure that you're out in the bar. Just cast it up on the TV. You're going to dig it. I love it. Also, streaming on both today. We're doing YouTube and we're doing Facebook. If you're doing YouTube comments right now, I'm not going to see them, but we'll get in there and answer those here in a little while. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for the ACO push text to get information right at your thumb tip, make sure that you text ACO, the letters ACO, to 833-695-1318, 833-695-1318, and everything that we think you need to know quickly will be right there at your thumb tip. Our bag partners, as always, are scrolling across the bottom and are featured here on the front of the table. And this is a big group right here. This is going from Frank's side to my side across the top. How about the B3 Primes, the Elite Bag Rockets, the Upstage Cornhole? Those are the which ones are these? I think these are the Raves. Yeah, duh. I probably could have just looked at the screen and see the Raves. Alpha Cornhole, the Rattlers, Head Trip Bags, the Voodoo right in the center on the bottom, and then also, how about those cheat code Cornhole drop shots right there on the bottom in front of me. So thanks to all our bag partners. A bunch of you are going to get a little love here in a minute when we catch up with Frank, but just a reminder that we try to feature anybody and everybody that we can, and love having you on board. Bag partner deal of the day still happening on the Facebook page. I think yesterday we had SS Cornhole. Today it was 157 backfires. I think that's right. It's on your screen right there. $60 shipped. You can't beat that deal. Only 2 sets of each line offered every day, but a new set is dropped at noon Eastern every day. Also, the mystery grab bag at AmericanCornhole.com. You got to love this one. $30 plus shipping, but we're just going to grab a bag and we're going to throw them in the mail to you, and we'll see what you get. You may love them. It might be a total fit. It may be something you want to trade or something that you want to get used to playing with. You never know. And the great thing about that is when these are all posted, there's links and reminders to go to check out all the different bag manufacturer pages so that you can go and find something that does fit your game. And also this mystery bag that we've talked about also has bled over into the majors, and it's a reward, if you will, for early registration. So if you get in on early registration, you will have, if you're one of the first 50 to register, you're going to be able to have 2 shots at a mystery set of bags. If you're one of the first 100, you will have 1 shot. And in Knoxville, how about Jeremy Gear, grabbed those TNTs, and then it was David Harris grabbed some Bramies bags. You got to love that. Just a mystery grab bag. They reach in, they grab what they get, and they loved it. You can see the photos right there. Frank got those. Good stuff there. And that's a great way, again, to give a little bit of love to our 60-plus bag manufacturing partners. Anything and everything we can do to help you guys push your brands, that's exactly what we want to do. Beloit, we sent out the survey. We appreciate those of you who filled out the survey. It's very important to us and to the places that we go, that we give them feedback on what everyone liked, where they stayed, what they did while they were there, that sort of thing. And Wayne Hagan from Wisconsin, he grabbed the tickets to the upcoming major for his participation in that survey. So thanks again, Wayne. Appreciate that. Now, speaking of upcoming majors, and we're going to get to Frank here in just a moment, Medford, Oregon, this Sunday represents the end of registration for of pre-registration for Medford, okay? And that's going to be this Sunday. Now, next Sunday represents the end of early registration for Clarksville. So again, like I mentioned, if you want a shot at those early registration bags, those mystery bags, if you're in the first 50, make sure you're going to get 2 chances. If you're in the first 100, you're going to have a shot. But don't forget, Sunday wraps up Medford pre-registration, and it also is the early registration for Clarksville. Now, Clarksville, something interesting about that too, and everybody was like, man, we absolutely want everybody coming to Clarksville. Our first time into Clarksville, and 3, count them, 1, 2, 3, pre-parties, welcome parties. And this is very cool. The CVB has put one together at the Varsity Pins. And this just came in, so I want to read this to you. Our man Blake said, hey, I talked to those guys per our last conversation. They want ACO to bring in cornhole boards to set up. We'll get with you at time to get everything set up. But based on what we talked about, there are some running specials. Upgrade a 16-ounce pour to a 23-ounce pour, and you know what we're talking about, for the cost of the 16, and the $5 draft margaritas. Okay, so this is the one that you're going to see here, and you'll see this will loop here so you can get the information, and all this will be posted on the social medias. There's also a promo that we're going to post for a free hour of duck pin bowling at this folks at Varsity Pins. I got the Lucky Duck, the duck pin bowling. If you've never done it, it's a blast. It's a lot of fun, and it involves that same arm motion that cornhole does. Also, with the purchase of an entree from the taco truck, you'll get that free hour of duck pin bowling. So we'll share that video with you. That's one of the 3 different welcome parties. CBC Boys put together one. It sold out within 24 hours. So that party, while you'll see the poster and the flyer for that rolling up here, we'll post it for you again later. They did say, I hit up Bill today, and he's like, dude, he goes, this thing sold out within 24 hours, but we do have room for people to come hang out, and if anybody cancels, there may be a spot for you to get in, get your team in, which is awesome. So thanks to the Corn Slinger Bag Company guys. And then Miggy's has got one set up about 20 minutes outside of where the venue is, which is very cool, and you've seen this one as well, and they've still got spots available in this one. So good stuff, great beer and food prices. He said the food is outstanding. There's still room for you to enter that one if you'd like to do that. That one's coming up next here on the screen, so you can reach out, and again, we'll post all this for you again, but we just thought you want to take a quick look at it. And it's easy access to the highway to the venue as well. So thanks to everybody in Clarksville for really opening up their arms and welcoming everybody. There's Miggy's right there. If you find yourself with a cornhole problem, this is the place to be. That's exactly right. So, again, that's Clarksville. Dalton, Georgia, we're going to be heading that way. And I want to make sure that I get all these different graphics in here, because I want to make sure that you see exactly, as we talked about the bag makers and whatnot. But this Pro Series coming into Dalton, Georgia, again, it's our first trip into Dalton. We're looking at a really cool venue called the Crescent City Tavern to have the welcome bash there. as well. So Dalton, that Pro Series, that's the fourth of five Pro Series. That's going to be February 16th and 17th. And, then we're going to be looking at Bentonville, Arkansas, and then out to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then, it just keeps building from there. Just good stuff. A couple of things that are coming up on the calendar that we've never done. We've got this new Grand Prairie, Texas, Dallas Major, which is coming up. More on that later. Toledo, Ohio, never been there. Looking forward to getting there for the first time. And then Punta Gorda, which I threw the logo up there a little early, but you already know it's coming. So Punta Gorda, what a great different way to celebrate a couple of days of cornhole. We're able to get together at the Twisted Fork for the pre-party and then get together at the 4 Point Sheraton there at the Tiki Bar. And all of the things that you see behind me are all of the things that were celebrated during the day, not at the crack of dawn. So you got to get out and get a little on you in the Punta Gorda area. So it's looking forward to that one as well. But again, the Gulf Coast Classic is what we call it. I think it's going to be around for years to come. Talk to anybody that was there last year, and you are absolutely going to find out what a great time that was. Now, speaking of a great time, Knoxville, Tennessee. I know the weather was a little crazy, and we're going to talk with Frank about that here in a moment. But what a weekend. How awesome was it? From the coverage of the weekend to the viewership of the weekend, the commentary on the weekend, and your input on the weekend. But how about the gameplay? And I could sit here and babble about it all day long, but I want to go to at least one of the best-looking people in the organization to tell you more about it. So I'll sit back. I'll shut up. I'm going to enjoy my drink here, and you guys enjoy this. I'll tell you what, if you're going to have something thrown to you, you might as well have the handsomest person in the entire organization send it your way. And I'm happy to receive that invitation to welcome to the show a man who's normally sitting right over here to this side, depending upon which side you're looking at. Frank Geers, the Cornhole Dude, obviously somewhere very sunny, or is slowly but surely becoming the Terminator. Where are you?
You got it, baby. Hey, I happen to be in Arizona this week, man. Checking out the great state here, where one of these days we're going to be throwing a major or two out in this neck of the woods. So, but that's what I'm doing, Finn. I'm on the road again right now, trying to land and secure some other good destinations for our ACO players.
That's awesome. And, as we head to Medford, it's important for those west of the Rockies and, kind of using Texas as that dividing line there to let folks out west know we're trying to explore more places out their way and, some places that maybe are a little sunnier than some of the places we're at. I'm gonna see how this works. Probably not going to be a very good look. And to be frank, I can't see shit. So anyway, I'm not as cool as you. But that said, what a weekend in Knoxville. I know that the weather where you are is a lot different and better probably than the weather you encountered this past weekend. It was somewhere between Beloit and where you are now, correct?
You know what? Honestly, Knoxville was almost as bad as Beloit weather-wise. Really? I mean, we had as much snow, and the temperature was about the same. It was like 0 degrees when I got there. But, I'd love the fact that so many of our players were able to get safely through the storms and get out there and be a participant. Because I think we did lose some players that ended up having to bail. I mean, in Knoxville alone, I think they've got 4 snow plows in the entire county. So the only thing that was clear was the highways were pretty good shape, but you got off the highways, boy, and it was a treat.
Well, if they have 4 snow plows, that's 4 more than they have where you are now. That's a fact. But and clearly, I mean, even 60 minutes before the welcome bash was supposed to happen, that the guys from TNT and Cornhole Solutions were throwing out there, they ended up having to cancel that because weather got a little dicey. So we're glad that everyone made it safely, and those of you who didn't make it, hopefully you made it back home safely or whatever it was, but still didn't keep a bunch of players from rolling into Knoxville because everybody knows how much fun this one is and how much there is to do there, weather notwithstanding. And the results sort of speak for themselves, but I know you couldn't have pulled it off if it hadn't have been for you and April and Chris and their children, Dwayne, Jacob, and Ryan LaBelle. Clinton Bilo, appreciate him. The Garners, of course, the Williamses were there. Throwing down, and it was quite a crew. You had the A team out there for sure.
It was. I mean, and we got everything taped out, measured out, set up, and it was kind of cool because we brought 2 truckloads of boards in this past weekend. We were able to kick things off with the 40 that we brought in initially, and then Chris brought another load of 32 in. So ended up running real smooth. We ran into one little bugaboo. the generator of the fire pads ended up going out. I guess on Friday night, it went dead on us. So we come in the morning, and all of our fire pads are dead. Right? We have Chris's that were charged up, but the ones in our box that we thought were charging, all day yesterday, and then that evening, no, the fan and the it just didn't work. So we ended up having to, drop, kick, punt, whatever we had to do. We came up with an idea, Chris and LaBelle did, and we ended up using phones. It actually ended up working out pretty well. The players there, Finn, ended up there using their own phones, and I actually did it, and it was quite easy, to be honest with you. The only thing is, the reason we can't really switch completely to something like that system is, there are some people that don't have phones, and there are people that don't charge their phones. So, but I think it is one of those things that in time, I think there is a very good possibility that the backup might be the fire pads, where people can actually just go up to the courts and use their own phone to keep score, because it did work out. We ended up getting all those fire pads recharged around 11, 12 o'clock, and then we pulled those out to the courts and ran the rest of the day with the fire pads. But I appreciate all the players hanging in there with us, because it put us back about an hour before we were really able to get the tournament off. Everybody was up and at them at 7 o'clock in the morning for an 8 o'clock tee off time, and we didn't kick off till about 9 o'clock. But it worked out good in the end. Again, when you have Chris, April, and LaBelle there, in charge of the show, you're bound to have a good tournament no matter what happens to you.
Well, we'll call Knoxville Fire and Ice, fire pads and ice balls. How about that? But it just proves that where there's a will, there's a way, and the will was definitely strong with this bunch. And real quick, thanks to our bag partners. I mentioned some of them earlier here, but I think we had CBC, TNT, Ruthless, IMF, High Roller, and Gusto all on site. Am I right?
Yep, they were all on site, and as far as I know, they all did pretty good there. I mean, once again, showing off their brands. They did pretty well in the overall Bagmasters series as well. I think Blueprint ended up winning that, I believe, this weekend. So congrats! I think they swept first and second in that to get in the hunt there. I think IMF right now is the first team to have maxed out points on the season. So people are chasing IMF. So IMF is right now trying to keep people at bay.
Well, that Bagmaster quads obviously has been very popular, as has been the big blind draw, obviously co-ed doubles, and we'll get to those results here. But think about this: if you're getting into a big blind draw with that many people in the house, and you're Craig Irvin and you pull Kim Dice, or you're Kim Dice and you pull Craig Irvin, that's going to be a pretty formidable team.
You're like, oh,
I can see in the big blind draw, but yeah, congratulations to them for taking that down. I saw a fairly entertaining picture of you and at least the king. I did not see you with a photo with Kim, which is the one I would have chosen, but whatever, you be you. Co-ed doubles, though, and I'll tell you, this team has been, whenever they roll in, they're tough to beat. Josie Clare and Braden Easterling, or as Hal now calls him, Beasterling, which I think is great. I love the hashtag Beasterling. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's a good nickname there for sure.
Yeah, Josie and Braden, anywhere they show up, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with, and they were, and they took it the top spot here in juniors. Brock Beasley really came in and laid waste to the field. He had some great games that I saw, a couple of them pop up on that I threw up onto the TV, both on Facebook and on the YouTube channel off the CBC center court.
Yeah, Brock was good for him, man. He just continues to. He's another one of those junior players that continues to evolve, day by day into a better person and a better player.
Yeah, good stuff. And I mentioned CBC center court. Thanks to Dylan and Bill and their crew for rocking it out. I mean, just lots and lots of engagement, lots and lots of great video, lots of great matches, and keeping everybody up to date on the ones you weren't seeing. If you didn't have Scoreholio up in front of you, I got a chance to watch a couple hours worth, and it was a lot of fun to watch. So. And as they know, it's not easy to try to figure out how we're going to sit here and do 6 or 7 hours of this straight without ever having to go put something in or let something out. If you know,
right,
I mean.
Right.
But,
yeah, those guys did, man. They were like you and Philip. They were workhorses over there, man. They were nonstop at that booth, man, and they were putting some food in. They were putting a couple beers down.
Yeah. Let's just say this: every once in a while, and only if you know what's really going on, do you understand when you're listening to somebody call matches, and then all of a sudden they just go, "Thank you, Frank." to know exactly what just happened. But I did enjoy that. It was kind of funny to listen to them contending with, well, how do we do this and still do this? And at one point, I think Dylan even went over to get a juniors match. They were still down and back, and he grabbed him and brought him over to center court. He goes, I hope this works. Or we're in trouble, because he knew with LaBelle and with those guys running the show that if you start messing around in their brackets, they're going to come get you. But they did a great job. And juniors, Brock Beasley, congratulations, Tennessee zone. And how about Johnny Thomas? I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Phil the Thrill, the Mississippi Ninja, picked Johnny Thomas. So that's back-to-back seniors wins for Brock. And it was Blaine Cruz, then Brock Beasley. Then that's right, T-Bone. It was T-Bone. For some reason, I was thinking Thomas 2 in a row, but it was T-Bone in Beloit and then Johnny Thomas in Knoxville.
Well, it's kind of interesting with the Johnny Thomas thing, because I ran into him early on in the seniors, right?
Yeah.
In the losers bracket, he had lost his first game. And how often do you hear Johnny Thomas? Johnny Thomas threw in his first game like a 6-6.
So you're saying I would have had a chance.
And ended up losing to I think it was Kevin Lemon, the Duck, man. No, it was a good, and he's new to the senior tour, so it was a new rookie to the seniors. Ends up knocking off Johnny, but Johnny threw a 6-6, man. So I catch him, and I think I was the one that got him back on track. I think he threw like a 10-5 on me or something like that. He was just getting warmed up.
Usually, Thursday night Frank makes a good target for Friday Frank if you have to play him the next day. So let's just say if you're going to run into him, you want Friday Frank, not Thursday night Frank. But Johnny's probably still coming off of a heavy, remember the big birthday celebration in Owensboro. So it could be, you can see how it might have taken a week to 10 days to get back in his groove. Now, I did mention back-to-back.
He was dressed more like a cornhole player, though, here in Knoxville. He wasn't all dolled up like he was
he wasn't such a man of
Owensboro.
Bomb. But I mentioned back-to-back, and I was ahead of myself here. How about McKiller Ballou? Man, I'll tell you, she is just, what a couple of weeks she has had. You and I talked about not only taking down women's 2 majors in a row, both in Beloit and in Knoxville, but we'll get to her here in a moment, but a real game changer in every sense of the word.
No, you're right up, dude. I mean, that's exactly what it was. I don't know if you didn't tune into that match, it was a thing of beauty. I mean, the way she was able to work her way through that field. What was Finn? I think there was almost 400 total players in the singles division out there this year. It was absolutely huge to see her do what she did.
And she took women's back-to-back. She ends up as our world singles champ through that entire field, which we'll mention again later just to give her propers. But think about that. And the way she throws the bag, which we talked about last week, it's such, I'm not going to say unconventional delivery, but the roll bag, which some people love and some people don't like playing against it, watching it, whatever. But man, oh man, is it effective? She mountain climbs and gets up and over. And as you mentioned before we got on here, people are going to start have to study her delivery,
right?
And why that works. Like me, this could be something I could learn from, because I don't have any technique whatsoever. And I'm not saying that she doesn't. I'm just saying if I were to develop one, it might look a little bit more like hers.
Right. I mean, I think the beauty about it is, once again, we always talk about this on the sidelines as cornhole players. I think what you got to do is figure out what you're most comfortable with.
Right.
And throw it that way, because ultimately the object for any cornhole player is to outscore the other cornhole player. And one of the easiest ways to outscore somebody is by putting it in the hole more consistently than the other person.
I know.
And that's the bottom line. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how pretty the bag flight is or not. If it goes to the hole more frequently than the other person's bag is going into the hole, then that person in all likelihood is going to win. But she has mastered it. I mean, it's totally a different shot. And it's not a thing of beauty, but it's something that works, and she's a machine at it. She has mastered it. And I did hear from somebody that she had played or could play and throw a flat bag, and it doesn't do the same trick for her. It doesn't go to the hole like this bag does for her. And it's awesome. I guarantee you're going to see people trying to figure out how to throw it. But it's her pitch, man. I mean, it's the McKenna, it's the Ballou, man.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Hal dubbed Braden Easterling Beasterling. I'm going with McKiller Ballou. So because she's
McKiller Baloo.
McKiller Ballou, and she blew everybody out of the water in singles once. Once again, she made herself known that she was in the building. Before we get to singles, and one more point about McKenna. Braden Easterling, Beasterling, one more time with his partner Zach Kier, both out of Ohio, taking down world doubles. So a good weekend for Zach and Braden both. But,
yeah, and they beat a killer team there in the championship round too, I think, Finn, didn't they? Wasn't that?
I did not.
I think it was Irvin and Amos that they took down.
Oh,
so yeah.
If I had to guess, no disrespect, Craig, nobody's told me more about how many second places he's gotten than Craig Irvin. He says, dude, I'm number 2. I go, well, that probably doesn't sound the way you think it does, but he'll be the first one to admit it. But you know what? They're always up there and they're always on center court. And then we'll again tip our hat again to McKenna Ballou, took down world singles, and not our first woman ever to take down a world singles title. But I tell you, she's in pretty high cotton there, right?
Yeah. I mean, one Maggie Geiger is our first, female major winner ever. But I'll tell you, this thing in Knoxville was, a thing of beauty from the standpoint of the number of contestants that were there to compete against her this weekend. It wasn't quite the size of the World Championships, but it was knocking on that door, man, with 400 players in the house competing for this title, and to have a young lady walk away with it. And not only a young lady walk away with it, but a young lady with, just like we talked about a few minutes ago, Finn, a crazy different type of style to pitch the bag, man. It's just a different game, man. The game-changing performance. So back to what we said before, it'll be interesting to see how many people will go back and watch that CBC roll of that thing, man, and just study her pitch, because they're going to. Because they might not want to pitch like her, but they're going to have to figure out ways that get her shots off, right?
Yeah.
How do you get them off? But anyway, so it'll be interesting to watch how that unfolds over the next few months.
And as well, I know what you're going to say next. I think we're inching our way closer to the first ever Queen of Cornhole.
That's exactly where I was going to go, Finn. I mean, we are inching our way to. There is no doubt one of these days, and it's going to be sooner than later at this point, that we are going to crown a new world champion, and it'll be a female.
A queen, yes. How about that? And years ago, there used to be a king and a queen consolidated into one world singles champion at the World Championships. When will that first overall Queen of Cornhole be crowned? It could be July in Throwensboro, Kentucky. I mean, Martina Belt making a solid case. Josephine Ernstberger, Kim Dice, some of these names you continue to hear at the top. There's been a handful of other brand new names that have popped up. I mean, Chloe Arrington's throwing fire. Kelsey Heidert's throwing fire. I mean, we've even talked about Emma Jernigan. She's popped up and taken a couple of women's titles. Josie Claire, Juana Courage.
You didn't mention Maggie Geiger, and you also didn't mention McKiller Ballou now.
McKiller, well, that's where I was going to wrap there. I was going to say those are the names that are all chasing right now. Those couple of names right there. But it's going to be a fun way to wrap.
There's so many good ones. I don't know that you rolled off Kim Dice. I'm trying to think of some of the other just big, but there's so many of them out there anymore. It's like it's not a handful of women that can now start to compete. It's a basketful now.
It's a host, absolutely, a host of players, and and again, who knows? Maybe in doubles, maybe we see something like that too. Co-ed doubles, obviously a big division for the ACO, but who knows what doubles team might catch fire, and who knows? I mean, it could be Estra Generation X all the way across the board. You never know, but more power to you. I can't wait. That's what's fun for me, not being a player, just watching all this happen around me over the years. This has been a blast. So has this call. Now you go out and put your Borat suit on and get back out to the pool, and I'm going to go out and finish shoveling the snow off the front porch, and then we'll get back to the rest of the taco here, because I'm pretending like I didn't record this in advance, but I did.
Well, make sure you carve out some time for me. Taco Tuesday next week, buddy.
All right, we'll see you next Tuesday for a live Taco Tuesday. In the meantime, we're going to get back to the live portion of the program. We still got time to fill to get to, and we might as well take this opportunity to remind folks that this Sunday is the end of registration for Medford, Oregon. Um, and then it's also the end of early registration for Clarksville, Tennessee. So
Yeah.
we will remind you of both of those things right now. You get back to it unless you've got any final thoughts.
Nope, but that's awesome. And like you just said, man, Clarksville's around the corner, and that Dalton, Georgia one too. That's the last Pro Series before the end of the season Pro Series. So only 2 more of those Pro Series left as well. So thanks again. Congratulations to was it McKiller Ballou now?
Killer Ballou.
McKiller Ballou, man. Bravo, baby. Well done. Well done.
Right on, right on. All right.
Pitching.
Get back to it. All right, brother. Thanks. Cheers. And now I'm going to toss it back to the most handsome man that isn't on this call, or that is on this call right now. There you go. Take it, buddy. How about those two? Ain't they something? Appreciate Frank carving out part of his day yesterday to put that down on film, if you will. But man, oh man. And I saw in the comments here as this was running, Dylan says CBC's putting together a highlight video of McKenna for tomorrow's podcast. That could actually be longer than this entire episode because she was throwing lights out. And I know some people, as we said, like the roll bag part of it. Some people don't. Here's the thing. You're going to have to contend with it one way or another. And see this behind me? I posed the question, who could be the first ever world singles queen of cornhole? We used to have a king and a queen. Now it's all world singles. So who could represent the first ever queen? Could it be? And this is something I want you to think about too. And until I went over the list of the women's divisional winners this year, every one of the women that has won in our division this year in season 19, they're like Cher. You know what I mean? Or Adele. All you have to hear is their first name. Think about this: Amber, Kelsey, Josephina, Kim, Chloe, Maggie, Emma, Juana, Josie, Tammy, Martina, and McKenna. I mean, you know who every single one of them are. I mean, there's a couple others. There's Ashley. You know who that is. There's a host of others. But I'll tell you what, that CBC highlight video of McKenna, or as I call her, McKilla right now, is going to be fun to watch. There is also a video that Heinerman put together of Martina Belt, which you definitely have to see, and make sure you watch it all the way to the end. But we love having the opportunity to feature these highlight reels and these shots. Make sure, Dylan, you guys send that off to Eric so we can get that up on the YouTube channel as well, coming from CBC. And thanks again, you guys, for such a great job over the course of the weekend. But who's going to be that first ever queen of cornhole? Who's it going to be? I don't know. Maybe you know. Speaking of royalty, don't forget, if you don't have your passport and you don't have your tickets booked, we're getting down to crunch time here for the first ever ACL Europe Major. And this is going to be Manchester, England. Looking forward to this. It's going to be at the David Lloyd Manchester North Complex, which is very cool. Everything I've seen is very cool. And the hotels that we've recommended on the event page are very close to the venue. But there's so much we want you to get out there and do. And if you get a chance to be a part of it, make sure you do an extended a couple of days on the front side and the back side. Me and my better half, many of you have met her. We're extending it extremely so that we're going to head to Cornwall. We're going to see the folks at the Par Inn. Looking forward to seeing Tom and Matt and their respective families. Toby, our man, it's his birthday shortly before we get there, so we're going to be able to celebrate that. Lots of big fun there. But yeah, that ACL Europe Major is going to be big fun. So make a plan. If you've never done it before, this would be a good time to do it. So come check it out. The hotels that are close to the venue, I may mention that. That's on the event page. Everything that you need and anything else we can think of will be added there for you to check out. But if you think you're going to go, let us know. Absolutely. We want to know who's going to be out there. You saw on the slide there, you saw some of the talent that's going to be there. The aforementioned Kim Dice, our king of cornhole. I don't know if Fergie's going. Is he allowed? Does he have to check with customs on those dance moves to be able to bring those into country? I don't know. But Craig Irvin's going to be there. Caleb is going to be there. We're going to find out what those guys are made of in the UKCL, and they're going to find out what we're made of. Can't wait. It's going to be big fun. The UKCL, United Kingdom Cornhole League, and Daniel Lilly and his crew, we can't wait to get over there. So I don't know really who's going to England. Steve Duncan wants to know. We want to know the same thing, brother. And if you've got comments, feel free to throw them in the comments section there. But you know what? Believe it or not, we've gone 35 minutes into your Taco Tuesday, and I think it's time. He hasn't had a whole lot to say, but what else is new since we've been here in the underground? But maybe it's time to give you your Taco Tuesday back. Thanks to Heinerman, as always. Watch for this Martina Belt video that'll be pushed out as well. And if you haven't seen the Isaac Hurt video, best of video that's on the YouTube channel, make sure you check that one out as well. Again, go to the YouTube channel for the American Cornhole Organization. Check it out, and also hit that subscribe button. Smash it, as the kids like to say, and hit that notification bell. Thanks again to the crew who pulled off everything in Knoxville, Tennessee. Medford, Oregon, this Sunday, your last chance to get pre-registered. Also, the last early registration for Clarksville. And don't forget, if you want to go to Miggy's pre-party, you can go to Scoreholio. You'll find it there, and you can get registered as well. CBC sold out, but they invite you to come hang, see if there's a spot that opens up. And, of course, duck pin bowling, cornhole, and so much more coming to the one that's being planned by the CVB in Clarksville as well. So much fun. Can't wait to continue wrapping up season 19 on our way to, well, the return to Throwensboro, Kentucky. So we've still got two more Pro Series. We've got Dalton, Georgia, and of course Memorial Day weekend in Branson, Missouri. And just as Frank said, I've got nothing left to say except for these 10 things. I've already said we're going to give you your Taco Tuesday back to you, so now it's time to do that. I am Finn, the loudmouth for the ACO. Thank you guys for spending part of your Tuesday with us and all of your time and treasure with us through season 19. Cheers to you. Are you ready, buddy? You ready for another one? He must have drank that while I wasn't looking. All right, here's to you. And on behalf of Frank Geers, the Cornhole Dude, and Frank, the Cornhole Dog, and everybody else behind the scenes, keep on pitching.